Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about constant tension. And one of the things I see guys do all the time in the gym that prevent them from getting the most amount of hypertrophy gains that they can get. You know, muscle mass gains. That's what you're here for, right? You want to gain muscle. You want to gain natural muscle. Well, the one thing that I noticed a guy do the other day in the gym, who was, ironically, a guy who was too lazy to watch any of my videos. Help, help. My arms are so small from not doing constant tension. Shut up. I keep telling you to watch my videos. This was another guy, it wasn't just the snowman. But anyway, he started asking me about how to get bigger arms and how to train and all this kind of stuff. And I noticed how he was doing dumbbell curls, and he was doing the alternating dumbbell curl. And what he would do is just one arm and then rest at the other side, then one arm, then rest. He would just let the arm hang. And the bottom line is you can get some results from this, but more often than not, what I found was that people didn't get elite results in their arm training if this was the main technique that they employed. I found the main technique that you have to employ is the constant tension technique, which is basically keeping that tension on the muscle that you want to hit failure with. So the way you would do this is that when you come down with the weight, you would keep that arm slightly bent and keep that tension on the muscle. You wouldn't just relax the bottom. If you relax in the bottom, then you start to bring in the shoulder, then the shoulder muscles have to come in to help stabilize the joint. Yes, and maybe a different part of the bicep, or maybe there's some of the rotator cuff muscles or the tricep or whatever. But the bottom line is that you're giving yourself a bit of rest in the middle of the set instead of between sets. And this does not have that same intensity effect that constant tension has. Now, this is something that I've inherently done most of my life, and that's how I got elite results in my legs and in my hamstrings and in my biceps and stuff. And yeah, I've had a few hockey injuries along the way and stuff like that. My physique has changed a bit, but the bottom line is that the way I got the most results was by employing this technique. So even when I squat, you can see that I don't come all the way up and rest at the top on the lower back. Now, that said, if you're doing a set and you're going as much to failure as you can, you're just burning out the muscle, and then you want to take a rest after doing 20 or 30 reps or whatever it is, or 10 reps, and then you're like, okay, I think I can get an extra one by resting a little bit and then get an extra rep or two. That's different than resting on the joints in between every single repetition, right? So what I'm trying to say to you is this goes in alignment with the hitting failure at a faster rate in the muscle using reasonable weights, right? You know, there's always smart asses in the comments that are saying, oh yeah, well then just do 1 rep maxes, that's faster. You get to failure faster doing that. That's not what I meant when I'm making that video. So stop being smart asses, guys. When you keep the tension on that muscle and you contract it and relax it, but not totally, you keep that tension on there the whole time, there is a certain type of stimulus that gives the muscle. It says, I must maintain strength, must maintain tension, and there is a certain amount of tearing in the muscle that happens when you stop the momentum consciously with your own muscle during the stretched phase. And I think this is probably where most of the results are happening, is because when you're coming down with the weight, you're not letting just gravity take the weight and your joints basically take the stress. You're actually saying, I want the muscles to take the stress to stop the momentum of the weight and then come back up again. And because of this, this creates a massive amount of tearing and pumpy and lumpy effects in the body. So if you do this to extreme, of course, though, yes, you will tear a muscle, right? Because you're using your muscles to stop the momentum. So that's why you don't want to use extreme weights, especially with isolations, when you're using your muscle to stop the momentum in the stretched state. So yeah, with incline curls, with triceps, even with shoulders, like with lateral raises, I see guys all the time, they'll raise the weights up and then they'll come down and just rest the dumbbells at their side or in front or whatever. What I do is I keep the tension on the delts when I lower the weight by keeping my arms at my side, just slightly out from the legs and then up again. I don't let the dumbbells just rest at the bottom, you see? So I'm not saying that you can never do this, but I'm just saying that keeping that tension on the muscle from time to time to really burn it out and to make sure that specific muscle hits failure. And that's the constant tension effect. Down to here, tricep. Once I come to here, then the shoulder starts to move too much. Then I get more shoulder. That's why I stop here.
strategic range of motion.
So all the pro bodybuilders, all the guys that are top natural bodybuilders, they employ this technique, and this is why. So you'll see people say, oh yeah, I don't agree with the way you're doing this movement. You're supposed to rest at the bottom, put that bar on your chest, all this kind of stuff. Or you're supposed to sit in the hole, sit your ass on your ankles or whatever. Sometimes this is counterproductive. Although it might look fancy, by just sitting on your joints, you're not actually accessing more muscle fibers. If anything, you're just wearing down the joints in a lot of cases. So this is why this is the primary technique you see me employ, whether I'm doing pressing movements or whether I'm doing squatting movements or whether I'm doing Romanian deadlifts. Like right here, you can see me doing Romanian deadlifts, and I'm not coming up all the way at the top to rest. I'm keeping that tension on the hamstrings throughout. And everybody who has tried this technique will tell you that it is way harder in order for them to do this in an exercise as opposed to doing the resting method. This is way more intense on the overall system, and you may find yourself out of breath and totally exhausted from doing it, but you will break down more muscle fiber and get more result from it. So thanks a lot for watching. Don't be like the snowman.
You're a real asshole, you know that? Picking on a snowman, you're just gonna leave me like this? Half a face? Huh? Leave me with just one eyeball like this? Why I still see you, mother...
And take care for now. Oh yeah, and thanks to the Patreon supporters. Mountain.
Gallant!